Hello, and welcome back to the Cooper Villa channel. I am Scott Cooper, and I'm here with Noah Fisher and Owen Thompson from Villa on Tours here as well. Tommy can't make it tonight, but we are here to discuss Brighton and Hove Albion versus Aston Villa from Sunday. Disappointing day down on the south coast for the Villains. Couldn't get the points. If we did, we would have guaranteed fourth, but Liverpool did us a favour, and it's still in our hands. So plenty to play for, and a huge week coming ahead with the Europa League Conference second leg in Greece on Thursday night against Olympiacos. So we will be talking about that and much more after this. So welcome back to Coupe de Villa on Live as we bring you our review of Brighton and Hove Albion versus Aston Villa. And for all of you in the UK, I hope you've had a great bank holiday weekend and you're enjoying your Monday. Owen, I'll go to you first because you were there at the Amex. Disappointing game. Villa really didn't turn up and we look pretty tired at the moment. And unfortunately, the late penalty and Brighton take the 3 points.
Yeah, I think we're limping towards the finishing line through no fault of our own. Really, we're riddled with injuries, with more yesterday, and I think we've probably just done enough. We'll speak about Tottenham and getting the points they need and whatever, but yeah, we're just crawling to the finishing line now. I mean, I hope we can cling on and we can pick up another result in the final two, but yeah, we didn't really seem at the races at all yesterday. We were slow. We didn't create a great deal at all. Watkins never really had a sniff, but it happens. It can't be helped. The day itself was good. The weather was nice. So yeah, it was a good laugh, but yeah, we are at the very bare-boned back end of the season in terms of the squad fitness, squad depth.
Absolutely. I think it's 10 injuries at the moment to first team players, Noah, and you could really tell in the performance, especially in that first half. And when you've got an expected goals of 0.06, which is, expected goals, I think is a bit of a fugazi sort of stat sometimes, but I think it really did sum up in this game, where we were and, what we did on the day, which really wasn't much.
Yeah, not much at all. The commentators said after halftime was the first time we've had one shot in a half since 2021. So I'm not sure who that would have been under, but that is a fair while ago, and it was disappointing. I was bored. I was honestly just bored watching the game. It was so boring. The first half. I think as Owen said, we're literally just crawling there now, and hopefully 4 games to go in the season.
That would be nice. And it did feel like a bit of a preseason game at times, Owen. I think both teams have a lot of injuries. Brighton, of course, have been in Europe as well, like we have. They've had a pretty deep run, got knocked out to Roma in the quarterfinals, I think. So, or maybe there's round of 16. So they've had a big season themselves, and De Zerbi seems to be a little bit sort of fighting with the board and this sort of thing. So they haven't scored. I think it was for 4 games before this one. So, of course, they were always going to get a goal against Villa. And unfortunately, we couldn't really stop them from, attacking. There was, in the second half, Adingra was getting at Konza quite a bit and causing a few issues. And Brighton, fair play, I think deserved the 3 points over the whole match.
I think I said to Noah midway through the first half that it was very pre-season friendly. We were just rolling the ball around, trying to create something that was never coming. And then Brighton obviously only really playing one similar style of football, whether it's up against some of the best in the world, some of the lower teams in the league. They just want to try and walk it out the back. And I thought, actually, considering we didn't win, I thought we defended okay. I thought we soaked up the play well and kind of didn't let them have a great deal. Hence, it made it a bit boring every time they come forward. We were just winning the ball back, and then we'd lose it, and then we'd hold on again, we'd win it back. But yeah, ultimately, it came down to one decision, and I'd love to know a stat where I must have seen it at least 5 or 6 times now where we've saved a penalty and then they've scored from the follow-up. It's frustrating, but yeah, we didn't do enough on the day to warrant getting 3 points. So yeah, maybe the result was fair, but I'd have taken a point. So
yeah, I definitely would have taken a point, especially as the game went on, and you could see that, you know, we weren't really clicking. We weren't playing our sort of normal patterns of play. I think, you know, Douglas Luiz, you know, is struggling. Obviously, had a terrible night against Olympiacos that we spoke about on the last pod, and I think he just looks down on confidence. And you know, he's normally the one, or he was for, you know, the first half of the season, that sort of got us going in those attacking moments through the midfield. And you know, he's missing Kamara. We've spoken about this before. John McGinn, you know, I thought he tried hard, but again, wasn't one of his best days. And I read a stat, Noah, that we've got 4 players that have played over 4,000 minutes this season. And I think Manchester City have 3 and Man United have 2, and no other team has 1 player that's played over 4,000 minutes. So that kind of just sums up the, you know, we've got a bare squad, few injuries, and we've played a lot of games, and it's showing.
Oh, absolutely. And the players is absolutely knackered, Scott. But I think that's a good thing. It'll be good experience coming out of the season, especially with the likelihood of Champions League football if we can hold on and get there. But another season of European football regardless. And these players will get better from it. Obviously, we'll hopefully have a bigger squad next season. You get the likes of obviously Ramsey back and Buendia, Mings, all these players that we're missing. I think a big one that we're really missing is Jory Tillemans, just to sit next to Douglas Luiz and help him distribute the ball a little bit. McGinn is good at that, but he's obviously better higher up. We obviously know what he does for Scotland and everything. And yeah, it's one of those things at the moment where the season is still a massive success, but it just seems to be dwindling out a tad at the moment.
Yeah, he's one of those players that's played a lot of football. I read a stat that if you add his Scotland games, he's in 250 days, he's played 58 matches at a game every 4.5 days or something like that. So crazy sort of time on the field for him. And, you know, it's something he's not used to because, you know, we haven't been in Europe before. So it's not really a sort of something that a lot of our players are used to. But one guy who did have a good game, Owen, was Robin Olsen. I wanted to talk about that because he gets a lot of flack from Villa fans. He's obviously, you know, not as good as Emi Martinez. There's a big quality difference there. And he does, you know, he has shipped a few goals in the games he's played, you know, Olympiacos on Thursday night being one of the examples. But he had a great game this game, made 2 or 3 good saves even before the penalty, and, you know, was quite unlucky with the penalty, the rebound going straight back to João Pedro.
Yeah, I mean, obviously the numbers aren't great surrounding Olsen conceding goals I think it's a goal every 30 minutes. Or something silly, and then he keeps seeming to ship 3 or 4. But he did have a good game yesterday. I mean, I thought Martinez would come back in, and then we saw that his wife was putting stuff on her socials that he was sat in the house not doing a lot with his kids and stuff. So I thought, oh, he's not going to be in today. But no, a lot of credit to Olsen. I think if he'd have held on for the point, that would have done him the world of good. I mean, he'll be frustrated with the goal because he saved the penalty ultimately, but obviously the follow up happened. So I think he did okay. His confidence will have come from that. So I don't know where I stand with Olsen, but yesterday he did okay. Yeah, like you said, a couple of good saves. So that's all you can ask for, really.
That's it. And Michael put that comment there saying that, you know, we can't just keep playing our best players. But Michael, what I would say is like there isn't really much on the bench when you look at it. We got Zaniolo, who came back against Olympiacos on the bench but wasn't in the squad in this match. You got John Duran, who's young and he's looked good at times, but, you know, are you going to drop Ollie for him, you know, when we got such important games? So, Yeah, I mean, maybe someone like a Tim Irigabum. I would love to see maybe him put in, just to give Dougie Louise and McGinn a bit of a defensive cover and give them a bit more freedom in there, especially with Rogers injured now. It's going to be interesting to see what he does on Thursday night, Noah, with that third central midfielder, because Diaby went in there when Rogers came off yesterday, and I don't think that suits him that well. I think he's far better when he's on the wing or closer to goal alongside Watkins. So who do you think will slot in there?
I think Timmy has to be honest. I think if he goes next to Dougie, let Dougie play a little bit higher up, and then again McGinn follows suit and goes higher up as well. I think he's shown in patches what he can do this season. And again, like it looked like it wasn't going to work out for him at Villa. He was sent out on loan. It kind of looks like his time was fizzling out, and Emery trusts him. Another player that if he wasn't good enough, he wouldn't be around the squad and he wouldn't be kept at Aston Villa. And I think he should be given a shot. He played against Ajax, I think, one of the leagues. He played a full 90 minutes, and
yeah,
I think you got to chuck him.
He had a difficult night that night, but he came on versus Chelsea in a game that we were struggling on a couple of weeks ago, and I thought he actually looked good for sort of the 15, 20 minutes he came on, and we sort of got a bit more ball because in that match we only had 26% possession or something like that against Chelsea. So, yeah, I mean, I think, just the fresh legs, is something that we need. And, I would like to see someone like him, give him more of a chance. And because, the likes of Bailey and Diaby and these guys, they're looking really tired and they played a lot of football. So, I don't know. It'd be interesting to see if he does freshen it up. Like, why was Zaniolo not in the squad? Is he injured again, or is he being rested for Thursday?
It was weird because the video of the players arriving, I think someone said Zaniolo was in that video, and they saw him. He did travel,
ground.
Yeah. So I don't
know. I read somewhere because I mean, again, we'll touch on it. Moreno was in and around the squad and got some minutes. I thought he was done for the season, but apparently Emery had said that Zaniolo. Did he come on Thursday? I think he did.
He did. Yeah.
He said he felt a bit tight the day before, and it wasn't really worth the risk. So I'm not too sure on that one.
Yeah,
he might have come back a little bit too soon on Thursday. I don't know.
Yeah, but it'd be interesting to see what Emery does because we're going to have to go for it, Owen. We're 4-2 down from the first leg, an early goal. You never know what can happen. We've done miracles before. I remember way back when we beat Tranmere after being 3-1 down from the first leg in the League Cup semi-final, and Unai Emery himself at Villarreal has lost 2-0 at home and come back and won the away leg. So he is the guy when it comes to these European ties. So hopefully, he's got a plan and, we can really just have a red hot go and throw caution to the wind.
It's going to be very, very difficult. The atmosphere is going to be very hostile. I mean, they made a lot of noise on Thursday, to be fair, as well. So I can't imagine what it would be like inside a bigger stadium with big numbers. They'll be setting off fireworks and God knows what else. And it will be a very, very intimidating place to go. But like you said, if anyone can do it, it'll be Emery. And the first goal will panic them. And they've conceded a lot of goals in it so far in the Conference League. I think they shipped 4 to Tel Aviv. They've shipped a lot of goals along the way. So
they lost 4-1 at home to Maccabi and then won 6-1 away. So they can we can get at them, and that's one thing we have done all season to score goals. So
who knows? We have no idea. Like we said, we don't know what the team could be with all the injuries and players coming back, players being out. I don't know. It will be difficult, but you've got to back the boys.
Absolutely. And Noah, excuse me. That's live podcasting. Yeah, I was dying. So do we think that Martinez is fit? Have we heard anything about Thursday? Will he be back? Do you know? I just saw him having his matcha tea on that social media post. But
that stuff must be magic, by the way, because everyone seems to be loving it. So I might have to order some myself. But
the South Americans love it.
I think the original aim was getting back for this second leg, and it sounded like Brighton could have been a possibility, but it's not worth the risk, I don't think, in that Brighton game. I think if you're going to get him fit, you pick the Olympiacos second leg, absolutely, because it's just, I think it's way more important right now. I think there's still a possibility we can win it. I mean, the stats have shown how many goals they've shipped or conceded away from at home. But if we were going in with a little bit more confidence, like Ollie had been bagging in goals in the league and all that kind of stuff, I would have been a little more confident in his possibility. But he looks a bit down at the moment. Like he didn't really.
Oh, he certainly does.
He had that one moment, I think, in the game where I was like, why didn't he shoot? Like he did that amazing touch over the defender, and he just had to have a shot, but he just kind of summed up the day. We just kind of didn't want to take much on, and yeah, I hope he
does like to sort of take that extra man on and get it shifted onto his right hand side. Whereas, yeah, I was absolutely flummoxed. He didn't try and just bend one into the top corner quickly because it all opened up for him. And maybe Ollie a month ago would have, slotted that in, but he does look a bit frustrated, Owen. And, I think, against Bournemouth, he had a great game but didn't score. And you see him coming off the ground in the video in the tunnel, and he's like, oh, how didn't I score? And it's almost like this golden boot and the whole talk of him, possibly being player of the year and all this. Like, he maybe, I don't know, it sort of got to his head a little bit and knocked his confidence.
I think it's that horrible 20-goal curse, and he's got himself to 19, and he had chance after chance against Bournemouth. And I have this horrible feeling he's not going to score again this season in the league. I think he'll just get stuck on that 19. But yeah, he has been a bit starved. I think there's a comment about being starved. Yeah. He didn't get. I don't think he got much of a look in yesterday. But again, that just comes from a real lack of creativeness, especially after Rodgers hobbled off. The chances will come eventually, but yeah, I just have this horrible feeling he isn't going to pop another one in. He might get one in Europe or something, like he took his finish really well on Thursday. Yeah, but that's just the 20-goal curse with our strikers, isn't it?
I think it's because he knows that Tommy has to buy a shirt if he scores one more, and he's just refusing to make Tommy buy a Watkins shirt.
Yeah, they've got some sort of deal going on them too, maybe. Look, there isn't like too much more to talk about with the Brighton game. I guess there wasn't many chances. Matty Cash had a shot. We had the two offside goals at either end. Noah, there was they were both off by a whisker, and I guess you can't really argue with that. What did you think of the penalty? Because it is soft in some ways, and you think, look, if he doesn't give that, then it's not being overturned. But I guess when he does give it, then there is a slight contact.
Yeah, so the commentators here on Optus Sport put it quite well, that the videos can't show how much force of contact there is. Like only the player that's going down can determine that. But again, as you said, Scott, if it's not given, it doesn't get overturned. But the referee had a bit of a think about it. I thought he's not going to give that. And I said that he decides to give the penalty, so I wasn't quite happy with that. But Conser was quite convinced he didn't touch him, but looking back, he just got a slight touch on the ankle, and that's enough.
What did you think, Owen?
I was the other end, so it was hard to tell. But from first thoughts on site, I thought, I think it's a penalty. But I've only watched it back the once, and I think the biggest debate on Match of the Day was if that gets given, then the Rodgers one should get given early on in the first half. It should be either both are given or none. So that's where obviously the consistency comes in. I'm sure we could talk for hours and hours about the referees again, but we don't need to do that. So I don't know. It's frustrating, but it is what it is.
I know. I watched straight after the game the Liverpool match, and Cody Gakpo had one where Van der Ven just stood on his ankle, wasn't given, wasn't overturned, and there was way more contact in that moment than Conser did to the Brighton place. So yeah, it is frustrating because these things are just they can go one way or the other, and look, we've had a few good VAR things go our way in the early part of the season, so I guess over a whole season it sort of does even itself out, and we can't really complain too much.
It just takes so long, Scott. they just take far too long. Like that one on Pascal Gross's goal, it just looked it looked offside from the initial video that we saw on the TV, but it just took so long to make that
what's it like
decision.
in the stadium, Owen? Because I mean, us watching on TV, we get the lines, we get the commentator, sort of talking us through it, and what's happening and all this. But you guys have just got, possible goal, possible offside.
Yeah.
It must be really frustrating.
I think each decision is kind of a different scenario, but like you say, if a decision takes 4 or 5 minutes to decide on it, at least if you're watching it on the TV, you can look at it and you can talk to whoever you're with, or just go, oh, I think that's off, or it's not off, or it's a foul. But then I always think as well, they keep replaying it over and over. If it's a foul, for example, it's over and over and over. You surely you can make your mind up after 3 or 4 goes as to whether it's a foul or not. In the ground, it's just you kind of just stand there. You always kind of watch the referee first to see if he's moving back, ready for kickoff or whatever. But yeah, and then it pings up going, oh, they're checking it, and everyone's just kind of looking around at each other. Obviously, they don't show these replays, so it's really hard to tell straight away. And like I said, we were down the other end anyway. And
do people get on their phones? And
home game. There was a home game once. I can't remember when it was, and the lad next to me had it. It took that long. He managed to get a stream up on his phone and rewind it to then be able to check on his phone whether it was offside or something like that. And normally I've got people messaging going, oh, that's offside, that's not offside, that's a foul, whatever. But yeah, people just kind of look around, and it's always hard, especially with the offsides and normally being sat behind the goal. You can just never tell. You're just going to wait to see what happens with it. And then there's times as well where, especially at Villa Park, they'll show it on the screen after the decision's been made, but only for like a real split second. So you don't have time to go, well, actually, I think it is off or whatever. It's frustrating. I don't know if they're trying to bring something in next season where you can see the decisions while on the screens, but I know some grounds don't have screens. They just have like a little thing with the score on the side, so you can't always have that.
Well, I did hear that the referee is going to explain his decision, like over the loudspeaker or to the crowd next season.
That's what the A-League do. The A-League do that here, which is, I can't believe the A-League have that, and it's way better than what's in England, which is ridiculous, because I was watching the A-League semi-final last night, Melbourne victory, what a club. And like there was this controversial handball decision, but the referee like literally spoke the crowd through why he made the call. And like,
do you think that'd go down well in the EPL with all the?
Well, I think the focus
I think it's
and
great.
I think it's needed because no one can hear the ref's thought process on what's actually going on. Like again, like for another sport like AFL here, Scott, like you can hear the umpires are mic'd up all the time. You can hear them through the TV, and you hear why they're making decisions. And I think it's what's needed, especially after like if it's a long break, a 5-minute break, surely the ref has to explain what's going on.
What I would say though, like with the A-League, sorry, Owen, like it's not really the focus of the Australian media.
No,
we've got other sports here like AFL and rugby and that takes more of the back pages than the A-League. But in Britain, it's 24/7. It's talk sport, radio. It's and I think like the referees could be looked to made to be a bit silly, but I mean, I would like to see it. I think they should definitely trial it, but I'd be a little bit skeptical at how it would be sort of received.
I think the pressure comes from the scrutiny that refs are going to get and do get from fans. So you see they try and, I don't know if you see, they do a program every few weeks where they look at some of the decisions on Sky, and they have Howard Webb in and discussing through it. But again, they can easily tweet that and whatever else. What I was going to say is the ref that came over from Australia, Jared
Gillett.
Yeah. So obviously he came, I think a lot of his recognition came from a video that was doing the rounds when he was explaining a decision in Australia. And I'm led to believe tonight he's on the United game tonight, and he's wearing a camera.
Okay.
I'm led to believe he's wearing a camera. I think it might be for a TV program or something, but it might be a start to kind of just get us to where we need to be in terms of refereeing in this league, and hopefully get some better decisions.
Yeah. Well, one person that I think is very, very great for us and is Unai Emery, Noah. I think his post-match interview I really enjoyed because, I mean, obviously it was a bad decision, but he wouldn't take any of the negative comments from the reporter trying to suggest that maybe we're blowing top four or this sort of thing. He just said, no, we're positive. We're in fourth. We've got this game coming up on Thursday. It's all positivity. And he never, ever blames the ref, blames VAR, blames the fixture list, blames injuries or players being tired or whatever. He said, yeah, we're tired, but we're getting on with it. We're trying to be better, and we're trying to grow. And it's just so refreshing because you see Jurgen Klopp's had a few sort of dicey moments recently where he's been frustrated. Ange Postecoglou as well, Pochettino, have all. Ten Hag says some ridiculous things as well, and you just Emery never buys into that, and he's just focused on being better next week, if we do have a defeat, and I love that.
Yeah, I think it's one of the things Emery's learnt from his time in England with Arsenal is how hostile the media is. Like, he copped, I don't know why he got so much crap from Arsenal fans. I think he did a great job there, but one of the clips I remember from Emery this season was after we blew the win at Old Trafford. I think we're on like 60 points. It's amazing. Like, he just sees positive in everything we're doing. And like the video from last night is like, no, positive. Like, he's the person you want in charge of your football club. And I'm a bit jealous having had the opportunity to see Emery ball live. I saw Stevie G ball, which was another story for another day. It wasn't great, but
that's just balls. That's
it was absolutely putrid, but he's just such a person you want in charge of your club, and I'm so happy he extended his contract for that season. They're going to talk to extend it even further in the off season, and hopefully give him a lifetime contract, build him a statue, do what you got to do.
He handles his interviews a lot better than I probably would. I think. I mean, you look at O'Neill at. Sorry, I've just in that comment thing off. You look at O'Neill, for example, at Wolves, and I appreciate where his frustration comes from because Wolves in particular have had some horrendous decisions against them. But if that was us, I still have a feeling Emery would just come out and go, oh, yeah, we played okay today. We're looking ahead to the next game and whatever. But yeah, he manages to keep a level head regardless of the situation.
It comes from, I think, his experience. He's seen it all. He's been there. He's been in multiple leagues around Europe and some of the biggest clubs. And he knows what pressure is. He knows what it's like winning trophies. He knows that next year, if we do finish top four, it doesn't mean we're going to have another successful year. We're going to have to start again. And Newcastle and Chelsea and Man United and Spurs, they're all going to be fighting with us. And it's going to be probably like a much more difficult to do what we've done so far this season. That's get into the top four. We haven't finished it off yet. Probably 3 more points will do it. 3 more points definitely does do it. But yeah, so no, he's great to have on board, and hopefully, he can, magically do something in these last few games to get us over the line, even if we do limp over the line, because it's been a fantastic season. You got to pinch yourself to think just a week or so ago, we beat Arsenal and then we beat Lille in the penalty shootout, so it's not all bad. We've had a couple of, dicey results recently, but that's all part of the journey. So just got to keep trusting the process, and I'm sure on Thursday night Villa will show us something, and give us something to be proud of. Someone else that we need to be proud of, Noah, is Ollie Watkins, and the Football Writers Player of the Season came out, and he was 5th in the list, which I found a little bit like. I thought it was a bit harsh on him, considering he's got the most assists in the league and he's, 2nd or 3rd top goal scorer. It was, Phil Foden 1st, Declan Rice 2nd, Rodri 3rd, and Martin Odegaard 4th, I think, if I'm right. And Ollie was 5th. So what did you think of that? Do you think he could have maybe been a couple of places higher?
Absolutely, he should have. I think he should have been a couple of places higher. I mean, they say there's no bias. If you look at the clubs those guys all play for, and Aston Villa, apparently, 19 goals, 13 Premier League assists, doesn't deserve at least top 2, top 3. I mean, what's Foden? Foden's had an unbelievable season. I've got no issue with him winning player of the season. I think Owen and I were talking a few weeks ago, and we thought he'd probably take it home, but I didn't think Declan Rice would be second. I think if Ollie Watkins had this season and he played for one of those clubs, he gets the recognition I think he deserves. It's same with a debate like the Ivan Toney and Watkins debate. I don't know why it's a thing, because Watkins has clearly been the superior player over like a period of time, and if he doesn't go to the Euros, it's an absolute disgrace.
I think Tony.
Yeah, what did you think of that, Owen?
Don't think Tony scored since he's come back, or if he scored one, he hasn't scored in the last 10 games or something horrendous. So surely that debate's put to bed. Obviously, we never know what goes on inside Southgate's little head. So whether he takes one or not, then I have no idea. The only other player I think that stands out in terms of player of the year is probably Palmer. I think he's been exceptional for Chelsea, and I think someone said the other day if you take out his contributions, they'd be in the bottom 3 or just outside it.
A lot of penalties in
a lot of penalties. Yeah, but I think he's easily been Chelsea's best player this season.
He has been very, very
He
good.
did quality yesterday as well. So no, I think. I mean, as we always say, and has been that case for years, the media don't want to know with Villa. They were very hot to jump on us losing yesterday, or Tottenham get a result here and they can kick on to try and get 4. But we just go about our business quietly. I don't think Watkins will win player of the season, especially with the last few games kind of having not gone off the boil, but not been his usual self and not scoring as many goals. But obviously, as a whole, we've been thoroughly impressed with how he's played this season, and hopefully, if he gets in the England squad, he gets some minutes out there and can bang in a goal or 2.
And I'm almost certain he'll be Villa's player of the season. So he's had an unbelievable season. He can be proud of everything he's done, and hopefully he gets a couple more goals and finishes the season off well for us and gets us to where we want to be. There's a lot of talk in the chat. We haven't brought it up yet about our neighbours, Birmingham City. Not the weekend they wanted. They beat Norwich 1-0, but it wasn't enough. With Plymouth, Blackburn both winning as well. They are going down to League One. Is this a good thing for Birmingham? I mean, the rivalries to have them, 2 divisions apart from us. I mean, are you happy, Noah, that they're down?
Am I happy? I mean, I'm not really from the area, so I don't know how big of an impact it will have on the area. But as an Aston Villa fan, I think it's hilarious because of what they. If they had gone about this season differently, I would say probably something different. But you don't sack a manager when you're in 6th to try get signatures in Wayne Rooney, and then the icing on the cake is that same manager keeping Blackburn in the division while Birmingham get relegated. But yeah, I'd love to see us play Blues again because obviously that was my first Villa game. It was a derby and it was a special atmosphere. But hopefully draw them in the cup.
Yeah, I think it's hilarious, and I have no sympathy for them, especially after they sacked John Eustace when they were in 6th spot. So, it is. I would like to play them occasionally just to, get one over them, Owen. But that's not going to happen unless we draw them in the cup for a while.
Oh yeah, I'm going to have to go against you both on this one. If we don't ever have to play them again, I will not lose a night's sleep. I would be quite content because it's been so long as well. Then eventually they will do the one over on us, which I don't want. But no, I'd rather we just didn't have to play them again and let them do what they've got to do down there. I mean, obviously the whole of the comment that's just come up about the big stadium and all the. Yeah. The problem is, I mean, you look at some of the top owners, the whole mingling with the fans and all that stuff. It's just not going to work. I mean, it looks good as a PR thing. But ultimately, the work needs to be done on the pitch, and the main turning point was sacking Eustace and bringing in Agent Rooney. But it was so Blues to win on Saturday. It was inevitable they were going to win. Norwich were massively on the beach, and they just got caught out because everyone else around them won. So
yeah, it was crazy because it was pitch invasion at the end of the match, and I actually saw like there was a video going around where someone said that Plymouth scored when
Hull scored.
Yeah, Hull, who was playing Plymouth scored when they hadn't, and I thought that was quite humorous. I enjoyed that, but Yeah, look, enjoy. They wanted European football, and they will be going away to Wrexham next year, so they can enjoy that
That's
their
a
little
big away
European
day.
trip. Yeah,
But
that's it.
what sums up for me is Gabby. He's one player in the me that really flies the Villa flag, truly. And I think he went live on Instagram as soon as the Plymouth game finished and was like popping champagne at the TalkSport.
He was working
studio.
at TalkSport at the time.
Yeah,
It's just absolutely hilarious.
He went live and he just didn't say anything. He was just like looking at the camera and smiling to himself. And that's all you need to do.
It just sums him up. And then like when he was on TalkSport, he was trying not to laugh, but he was trying to get Birmingham fans involved. But that'd be the last thing I'd be doing is calling up and speaking to Gabby on TalkSport.
They don't like him because he scored pretty much every time we played them. So no, it's all good banter, and let's move on back to Villa. Let's look forward to Olympiacos, and Owen, you're not going to this one, but Max and the boys are going. That it's going to be a crazy away day, even though we do have the 2-goal deficit. I'm sure it's going to be quite a trip, and look, what do you want to see in this match? I mean, obviously we want to see some goals, some attacking play, a bit more patterns of play. But is there any changes? Anything you'd like to see in particular in terms of team lineup?
Well, we don't really have a lot to go off now, unfortunately. But I think Rodgers is potentially season over. It was a hamstring yesterday, I think, so it could be a couple of weeks. So whether he comes back or not, I don't know. Tielemans maybe on the fringe of coming back as well. If he's fit, you've got to throw him straight in. I think, especially losing Rodgers. We've just got to have a go at it and hope we can sit tight at the back. Obviously, Olympiacos know how to score and will score a lot if they want to. So the tighter we are at the back, and like we said, the first goal if we go 1-0 down, you can call the lot off. But if we get an early goal, backs against the wall, they'll go quieter, and we've just got to keep at them for 90 minutes, one big final push, really. And if we can somehow get through, even if we have to get it to extra time, it will completely wipe the players out. One thing I was going to touch on, I know it happened with the Lille game as well. They've had a weekend off in between the two games. I'm sure, I don't know if it's the same in Spain or anything like that, but it just seems to be the Premier League have to play on the weekend, which I just thought was the case all around. But apparently in the later stages of Europe, teams around Europe don't have to play in between the two legs, which is obviously a bit frustrating. But
it all comes down to money. These teams, they want their teams to do well in Europe because that brings more focus to their league. So whereas the Premier League's all about the Premier League and all about selling tickets, and we got Liverpool on Monday, so I guess we get an extra day than usual. But yeah, it's still, I don't think the English, the FA and the Premier League do much to look after the English teams. I mean, just look at how the English teams have done this year. All out reasonably early. So Villa are the only ones left standing at the moment. So, I mean, hopefully, Noel, we can get that minor miracle and get through. I mean, if it does go to extra time penalties and Emmy's back, I'd back us all day, every day to win a penalty shootout with Emmy in goals. But we got to get there first, and we got to really play probably a perfect match.
Yeah, absolutely, and it's. I mean, what a story it would be, because they were like the videos of the Olympiacos players and them, like the hierarchy going nuts at Villa Park and stuff. I'd just be showing them that on repeat, to be honest with you. Like they've celebrated like they've won the game already, and I know you did like the away goals rules, Scott, but if we somehow win this or
I didn't like it in this situation. No way.
Yeah, so. Just you got to do what you got to do. But that early goal is crucial. I think earlier in the season, we started games like a house on fire, and it just seems recently we haven't been able to get that same momentum going. But boy, if we can get an early goal, I see us winning it if we get an early goal. I honestly do. I just think it will rock them. They concede a lot at home and give us an early goal. Leon Bailey, I reckon, and yeah, we'll go on. And then I know Owen will be getting the laptop ready to purchase the tickets to the way to Athens.
If it's any consolation, if I do get knocked out, I can save myself a lot of money because the flights are going up and up and up and up. And I know a few people that have already booked flights just to kind of get it on the cheap. But obviously, we'll be sat there ready to go if we do happen to pull it off. But yeah, like you said, an early goal changes everything. It'll help. It'll give the players a bit of a confidence boost. And yeah, all you need to do is show the clip of the Greek players jumping around and at full time as if they were through to the final as a motivation. Thing, so.
And the bloody Nottingham Forest owner,
he was there
jumping around like, maybe they can get a points deduction or something. And then,
on that note, actually, as a quick side note, I'm led to believe today they will find out if they get any points back, Forest.
Right.
I think they'll stay up anyway because of the result they got the weekend. But if they get 2 points back or whatever it is, that'll sort them out.
Yeah.
And Burnley are going to beat Tottenham next weekend.
That'd
be nice.
It's just so good they're going to play City because I know that Tottenham have a good record against City, but I'd rather that game be sitting there. But I think
what I really want, Noah, is Arsenal to keep the title race going until that match. Because if City have already won it, like if Arsenal go to Man United next week and lose and City have already wrapped it up, then maybe Spurs can beat them. But if the title's still on the line, then
they'll win it.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
The only thing I hope is I think someone put a stat out about how 5 times at Tottenham's ground now, City have lost every time. The only time they won was in the Cup.
Yeah,
but
this year.
We know how it is. End of season, City are find that 6th gear, and I'll completely understand me. And they ripped Wolves apart. Well, I say they Haaland ripped Wolves apart on Saturday. So I'm not sure. I don't know. City, surely they even if they don't lose, even if they don't win, a point's fine on our behalf. But the way Tottenham are at the moment, Burnley could go and nick a point off them or something like that. Which ground is it at?
It's at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium.
The Burnley game?
Oh, Burnley at Turf Moor.
Oh, it's at Turf Moor. Okay, yeah.
I think it's at Turf Moor. Yeah.
They're not.
No, it's at Tottenham.
I play Sheffield United away. Yeah, that's the bigger one.
But they concede loads away from home. Well, they concede loads anyway, but I think they might just have a bit too much for Burnley.
But I say this Liverpool game coming up, Scott. I think it's the last home game of the season. I'll take you back to last year, last home game of the season. Something on the line. The boys just seem to get it done. Not this season. We don't seem to get done. We need to, but I think the last home game of the season. I think that we'll beat Liverpool at Villa Park.
Monday night under lights. It'll be
get it going.
It'll be a good atmosphere.
I'll tell you what. I'm glad we're not playing Liverpool in the last game of the season. Jurgen Klopp's last game as Liverpool manager, because that would be the worst. I'd rather play him in the second last game and we beat them 1-0 at Villa Park.
It'd be good. It'd be good to burst the top bubble. I mean,
exactly.
Another issue is Palace have hit a bit of form recently with Oliver Glasner as coming in for Roy, and they've been smashing a few teams and scoring a few goals with Eze and Elise back in the team, back fit. So I don't want it to go back down to that game that we need something. So hopefully City or Burnley or somebody will. Or ourselves,
Everyone's doing us favours recently. Chelsea did us a favour.
They did.
Arsenal did us a favour. Everyone's just looking after the Villa right now, and City, please continue doing so, please.
Absolutely. Just shout out to Jared in the comments. Good to see you on board, Jared, a mate of ours who, we saw in Brisbane when Villa were playing Leeds back in the pre-season last season. So good to have you on board, Jared. All right, should we do predictions for Thursday night?
Yeah, do Thursday and Monday.
Okay, and Monday.
Just in case.
We'll probably do a wrap up of the second leg.
It could be me and you in person, Scott.
Absolutely. You're coming over here. That's right. So
I'm coming over to Perth tomorrow. So should be interesting.
That'll be something to look forward to. And all right, so I'm going to go. Look, I got to be positive, and I'm going to say 3-1 Villa. and Villa on penalties.
I knew you were going to say that.
You love your penalties prediction because
Look,
you said penalties for Lille.
I did. I was right, wasn't I?
Yeah. I'll do a Tommy prediction and go like 20-0 Villa or something, but I think it's going to be extremely close. It's going to be extremely close. I don't see us keeping a clean sheet, but I can't predict us to not take it to extra time. So I think it's going to be 4-2.
Oh,
And
4-2.
And we'll win on penalties.
Owen, what are you thinking? Realistically,
I think we will win. I think we will win the game. However, it won't be enough. I think we will win 2-1 on the night and we'll fall just short. But I think it'll be like it's 1-1 and then we pop one in late on and it's too little too late to go and get a winner. Or a goal to take it to extra time, sorry. I think we'll just fall short.
In that situation, will we see Martinez go forward for a corner? I know Emery says he's never going to do that again after Arsenal last season, but I could see him just like overruling and just saying, "No, I'm going up."
Yeah,
but
that would be an interesting one if he scores.
It would be. I mean, look, South American goalkeepers have scored headers from corners in the last few years. But look, miracles can happen. Football is football. Who knows? An early red card for Olympiacos and a penalty, and it's on. So, keep the faith, and I'll be watching, and I'll be thinking, this is a possibility. Let's get it done. Another thing I wanted to say, Owen, I wanted to ask you because I asked Noah this. After the Olympiacos review we did, was if we get a penalty now, who takes it? Is it still Dougie Luiz, or do you think it could go back to Ollie?
You've got to stick with Luiz. I think if you go to Watkins, you've got to go Luiz. I think he knew straight away on Thursday that wasn't a pretty penalty, and he'd had a horrid game. I don't think he'll let that happen again, especially if we get one on Thursday this week. I would stick with Luiz.
Fair enough. I think there's a good chance it goes back to Ollie. Just I don't know. I think
that just proves we're rattled, Scott. I think if we change penalty takers in a massive game, we are rattled because it's just Luiz has missed one penalty this season. I know it was a big moment, all that kind of stuff. He hasn't been playing well, but he has been our penalty taker all season, and he's done extremely well. He put one wide. It wasn't his day out. But no, don't change. I'll stand by that.
All right. And, should we do Liverpool predictions?
Yeah.
So Monday night.
You go.
I'll say 1-1 in this game, I think.
I'm going to go.
I saw Coxie say 1-1. No.
Yeah, Coxie agrees with you, but I'm going to go 2-0.
Yeah.
I think that we are going to win. We're going to score an early goal, and then we're going to score like a 90th minute, just seal the game off and secure Champions League football at home, the last home game of the season, and then the players can come out and thank the fans.
Like a Bertrand Traore 90th minute against Leicester.
Oh, imagine that. Imagine that.
Owen, what do you think about the Liverpool match coming up? Because Liverpool have been a bit shaky. I mean, they had that good win against Spurs, but before that, they'd had a few, up and down results.
But I mean, I didn't watch much of the Tottenham game yesterday as we were coming back, but by the sounds of things, they did really well for the first 60-odd minutes, and then they started to just implode a little bit. I mean, that may have just happened actually because they were 4-0 up and weren't going to blow a 4-goal lead. But on the road, they've not been too good as of late. So I'll go 2-1 Villa. I think we'll do enough. I really, really don't want us to be going to Palace needing something. In which case, we would probably need to rely on one of the teams playing Tottenham. But if we could get it done ourselves against Liverpool, then that would be excellent.
When are City playing Tottenham? Is that
the week? They're playing 2 or 3 days after us on the midweek.
It's next Tuesday, so it's the day after the Liverpool match.
Oh, far out. Okay.
So
imagine that. I'll be watching that game.
Yeah, we want to put pressure on them by getting something in that match, at least. I mean, I guess a draw doesn't really help us. Obviously a win, it's over. So, but we don't want to go into that match, on the back of 2 defeats in a row.
No.
And so it's all to play for. I mean, this is what we wanted, right? I mean, when we were in the championship and we were playing away at Barnsley and away at Rotherham and these kind of games, we would have, snapped your hand off to say, 2 games to go, we need 1 win to secure top 4, and even if we don't get a point, we can still get it. It's still possible. So this is exactly where we want to be. I'm excited for these last few matches. I'm excited for Thursday. I think miracles can happen. I'm a romantic when it comes to cup football. Unai Emery's the man, and why not? 3-1. Emmy with a couple of saves in the shootout. But we will be back after the Thursday night, the second leg in Greece. So make sure you follow us on the socials. We're on TikTok, we're on Instagram, we're on Facebook, we're on X, we're on all your platforms. We're on Spotify as well if you want to listen to us. I'll be uploading this one pretty much straight away, so you can get onto that and give us a listen. Make sure you give us a follow over there too. And Owen, thanks again for coming on, buddy. It's always great to see you, and I'm sure we'll have you on again soon.
Absolutely.
We've got some big things planned. So, looking forward to the games and up to Villa. And we'll see you after Olympiacos.
Good night, guys.
Villa. See yous.